I was on a 7-day solo canoe trip in northern Algonquin Park. The trip started 4 days ago when I launched from Algonquin Park's Access Point One at Kawaywaymog Lake, located in the northwest corner of the park. My trip so far included slow traveling from Kawaywaymog along the Amable-Defond River to Kawaywaymog or North T Lake. I camped the first night on North T. On day 2, I paddled from my campsite on the west arm of North T Lake to a small lake called Mangotasi. Then, on day 3, I continued to canoe from Mangotasi to Biggar Lake, passing through Hornbeam Lake and the Twin Falls. Day 4, I pushed on from Biggar Lake through Sinclair Lake, Kawa, and Upper Kawa Lakes to 3 Mile Lake. I wanted an early start the next morning, so camped as close to the long 2,900 meter portage that would start off my next day of travel. It started to rain the day before, and before going to sleep, I knew the coming portage would be wet, slippery, and full of mosquitoes. I was alone in Algonquin Park for 7 days, and now it's day 5. Still raining. My body's tired. I've been going through my mind whether to carry the big dry bag or the canoe and food bag first. Maybe take the canoe and food bag, leave the shelter set up so that when I get back here, I can lie down and go back to sleep. Maybe just stay here altogether. I lay in my hammock a while to try and wait out some of the rain and avoid the cloud of mosquitoes I could hear buzzing through the screened wall of my hammock, trying to rest a little more after a night of not so very good sleep. The plan for the day was to hike the 2,900 meter portage from 3 Mile Lake to Manitou Lake, and then continue to slow travel by canoe further west on Manitou to close some of the distance for the next day. But first it was time to get geared up for a wet and extremely mosquito-infested portage. First, Fjällräven hiking pants with my bear spray holstered. Chances of a bear encounter were slim, but I was alone and hadn't seen anyone else in days. Best to be prepared. Second, my new favorite moose t-shirt, color coordinated with the pants of course. Rain pants. Nothing special about these, but with the rain falling and the extremely wet trail conditions, these would hopefully keep my legs dry from the wet vegetation and also the possibility of another rain downfall. The original bug shirt. This was the first time I had ever worn one of these. I bought it knowing the bugs would be extreme this time of year, especially on the long portage, and there really isn't much worse than having a canoe on your shoulders while being swarmed by mosquitoes. Rain parka. It was still raining and didn't look like it would really light up. I wasn't sure if I should wear it or not because of the high humidity, but might as well start off protected from the elements. Hiking shoes. Of course, these are labeled waterproof and do a fairly decent job at keeping your feet dry, as long as you avoid water. Lastly, my beloved Akubra hat, which has protected my head from rain, sun, and insects for well over 20 years. And that was it. Where else could I dress like this except alone in a Canadian forest? The portage was 2,900 meters one way. I'd do the hike in stages and in 2 carries, so 3 trips all up and a total distance of 8,700 meters. a little over 8.5 kilometers. My big pack weighed approximately 60 pounds, mostly because of my camera gear. If I cut that, it would be closer to 45 or 50. The canoe was an additional 40 pounds, and I'd carry my food bag at the same time, so the weight of that carry would end up being around the same. I've reached a canoe rest here, so I'm gonna drop the pack and go back and get the canoe. I doubt this is halfway. I'm guessing it's probably like a quarter or maybe a third, but yeah, I'll use it. It's the same distance whether I go to the end and then walk back and get the canoe, or if I do little shuttles. So now the mosquitoes are pretty freaking bad, but they seem to not be that bad as long as I'm moving. So I don't have the bug shirt over my face yet. Might do that when my head's up under the canoe. So yeah, time to keep going. Okay. Whew. Sweating. It's just so damp and humid right now that it's quite brutal, actually. Just, you know, heavy air makes it more difficult to breathe. High humidity, you know, sweating way more, plus wearing the rain gear. Of course, it's not raining. But I know if I take it off, I'll be a kilometer away and it'll start to pour. Anyway, I got the canoe up here. I'll say whatever distance this is, I'm hoping it's a third. 1 kilometer in of 3 would be great. So I'm gonna have a quick drink. Then I'm gonna pick up the big orange pack and do the next section. I'd love to be wrong and this be a halfway mark. Here we go. Second part. It's the land of portage signs. But Manitou. 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 That's me. Holy cow. I guess they don't want people to get lost.
Another rest stop.
Okay, back up here. I had to take the rain jacket off. It's just way too humid, and it's like a sauna suit, you know. As I'm getting closer to the warmest part of the day, all that rain and everything from last night and this morning, it's just, I'm like walking in a cloud, you know, it's all just steamy. So, yeah, bug jacket is soaked. Sweat. It's nice. Gotta get a quick drink and then carry on. Can't stand still too long though. Even when I just arrived, mosquitoes just swarming my gear. Well, they're probably swarming everywhere, and it's just where I notice them. But yeah, got to get a bit of hydration and keep going. Bear poop. Another rest. But I think I'm gonna just keep going past this one. I'm hoping that the next one is the lake. Might use that, mosquito on my face, might use that with the canoe. Really, the bag is the heaviest, but I just want to push on. Yeah, that's downhill from here, at least for a while. I see water up ahead. Oh, it's nice. Manitou Lake. That was all downhill from up there. Now, unfortunately, my water bottle's back up there. So I'm gonna catch my breath and then head back up, get the rest of the gear. Made it. And looks like it's starting to rain out here on the lake. Honestly, I don't care. Manitou Lake is a relatively large lake in Algonquin's northwest. Like Tea Lake to the west, Manitou can get quite choppy with a strong westerly, especially around midday. So far I was lucky with the wind and chop, but the clouds weren't very promising. But it wasn't very long out on the water before I saw a familiar sight. I'm at a campsite. Now, I actually stayed at this campsite a couple years ago when I did the Northwest Loop. It's my view. The only thing is, the last time I was here, it was in a tent, so I don't know. I'll have to check to see how it's set up, if I can hang a hammock easily. Regardless, it's a good spot to have a rest. You know, I think I'm going to set up my hammock just between these two trees here. It's not right on the water, but it's really the only two trees that I think would work. And it does seem to be a little bit out of the wind here. Of course, the wind could change direction, but yeah, I think it's gonna work. So I'm gonna unload everything from the canoe, and first thing I'm gonna do is take care of my feet. They're soaking wet. My right foot has a bit of a pain spot on it, so I'm hoping I don't have a blister. Have a drink and something to eat too. You know, some people might be wondering why I bother with the chair when there's a bench everywhere. It's simply because the backrest. After a long day, portaging or paddling, it's really nice to be able to lean back against something. It's definitely a luxury item, but after all the hard work, I think I deserve a little bit of luxury. Ooh. Right there. Yep. There's a sore spot. And those are some waterlogged feet. Whew, 2 sore spots. It's a good thing I was wearing waterproof shoes, or this could have been a lot worse. Put on some dry socks and wear my sandals for the rest of the day. Maybe try to get my shoes to dry out overnight. Fortunately, I don't have any huge portages. I have to check the map, but I think the longest one now is about 400 meters. So I can do that. You know, it's funny, though it's not comparable. It's not funny either. But last time I was here, Northwest Loop, I also had foot issue. And pretty much I think from the same cause, wet shoes and a lot of dampness, but I ended up losing, may have even been my right foot, but I lost a toenail. Might have lost two. So yeah, they grow back. It wasn't the best day for a swim, but after a day of sweating through my clothes and a few layers of bug spray, I had to wash off and get changed into something dry. Plus, regardless of the weather conditions, Manitou Lake is a beautiful spot. Okay, well, I need to gather up some firewood, so I might as well take you along and show you what this campsite has to offer. This campsite, like so many in Algonquin Park, is established on a hill. It's a beautiful spot where the rock-covered forest is dense with pine right to the water's edge. It's also a perfect landscape for the large trees to lose their hold in heavy winds and come down with extreme force. These pines are also known for shedding their branches, and caution should definitely be taken to be aware of widowmakers lurking high up. Anyway, I'm gonna do what I need to, gather up some firewood, and that way I can get a fire going and dry my shoes. I had rolled my tarp up at the last camp because it was soaking wet, and rolling it helped to contain some of the water inside the damp sides. Along the back edge of the tarp shelter, I used a couple guy lines and stakes, tied off with the taut line hitch. If you don't know the taut line, I highly recommend it as a camping knot. It's super easy to learn and offers an adjustable loop, useful for a lot of different camp applications. I'm providing a link in the description to the best video on the taut line hitch. You can learn this knot easily in less than a minute. The ground sloped downhill at the front of the tarp shelter, so I had to improvise and get creative. The stick would help change the angle of the front corner guy lines. I used a few rocks to anchor it in place, and then angled the guy line out on a 45-degree angle to add some friction and stabilize them in place. Oh yes, those are my socks and underpants left to dry out in the rain. Nice shot, Jason. As the rain started to pick up, there was nothing really left to do but take cover and try to stay dry. Maybe torture my audience with a bit of mandolin. It's definitely raining still, so I ate my dinner and yeah, obviously in the hammock now. I guess it's a good thing, I need the rest, so get some sleep. It's a pity excuse me, it's a pity I got all the firewood ready. I was hoping to have a nice fire here, but can't change the weather. Another thing I wish is lying here, realize that I have a peanut butter chocolate protein bar and I forgot to eat it. I'm still kind of hungry. Anyway, I guess I can have it tomorrow. So, good night. Well, it's the middle of the night and the weather's quite intense. The wind is strong, the waves are crashing, and the rain's much harder. It's no thunder, no lightning, but it's enough to give me some concern anyhow. So I checked the time, it's around 3 o'clock in the morning. Shelter's holding up alright, which is good. I looked out a minute ago, there's no way I'd be able to film it. It's just too dark. But the rain is diagonal, but there's also this almost like a mist from the rain that's just everywhere, moving sideways. Yeah, it's fun. So, gonna have to try to get some sleep through it.